The cardiovascular, or circulatory system is an organ system of the body that is responsible for the continuous circulation of blood through the body. It is a closed system, consisting of the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. The lymphatic system is closely associated with it and will mentioned briefly. Heart. The cardiac cycle is the sequence of events that occurs as the heart beats. Electrical signals are generated and propagated sequentially through the heart, causing the muscle fibers to contract in a coordinated fashion. This produces the heartbeat and pulse that are detected clinically, and can be seen on an electrocardiogram, ECG, or EKG. The heart is the muscular pump that circulates the blood through the vessels. Electrical impulses generated in the conduction system, specialized cells and tissues, of the heart cause it to contract and relax, which pumps the blood in a closed loop throughout the vessels. This allows for the continuous circulation of approximately 4 to 6 liters of blood every day for the average adult. The heart has 4 chambers, 2 atria and 2 ventricles. The right side of the heart, right atrium and ventricle, pumps blood to the lungs, and the left side of the heart, left atrium and ventricle, pumps blood to the body. The loop through the lungs, the pulmonary circulation, allows for oxygenation of the blood prior to circulation through the body. Valves are in between the atria and ventricles, and between the ventricles and their existing vessels. The pericardium is the fibrous sac-like structure that surrounds the heart. A potential space, the pericardial cavity, is between the pericardium and the epicardium of the heart. The heart has 3 layers, the endocardium, the myocardium, and the epicardium. The myocardium is the main cardiac muscle layer. The blood supply to the heart is through the coronary arteries arising from the proximal aorta. The heart has 4 heart valves, the mitral, aortic, tricuspid, or pulmonary. The mitral and tricuspid valves control the flow of blood between the atria and the ventricles. The pulmonary controls blood flow to the lungs, and aortic controls blood flow to the body. The heart is composed primarily of cardiac muscle cells. Cardiac muscle cells do not regenerate, therefore the cellular change that occurs with injury is hypertrophy, which is initially adaptive but over time makes the cells more susceptible to further injury. The conduction system is composed of a network of modified cardiac muscle fibers, the Purkinje fibers, pacemaker areas called the sinoatrial node and the atrioventricular node. Blood vessel. The blood vessels are a network of muscular hollow tubes. Vessel walls have 3 layers as well. The inner lining is a single-cell layer of flattened endothelial cells. The endothelium is continuous with the inner layer of organs such as the endocardium of the heart. The middle layer is the muscular layer, and the outer layer is a connective tissue layer. Capillaries are the exception, they are 1-cell layer thick, and have no muscular layer. Blood vessels are subdivided generally into arteries, veins, and capillaries. Oxygenated blood leaves the left ventricle, entering the aorta, and the systemic circulation. The aorta branches to smaller and smaller arteries, arterioles, throughout the body, until reaching a network of the smallest vessels, the capillaries. The deoxygenated blood then returns through the venules, then the veins, and the vena cava, inferior and superior, to the heart. The main exception to this rule is the hepatic portal circulation. Capillaries around the gastrointestinal tract absorb nutrients. Instead of leading to the heart, the portal vein branches into another capillary system in the liver, which then goes back to the heart by the hepatic veins. Arteries are the vessels that transport oxygenated blood from the heart to the body. Veins are the vessels that transport deoxygenated blood to the heart. The exceptions to this rule are the pulmonary and umbilical veins, which carry oxygenated blood to the heart. The heart pumps blood through the arteries, however, to return blood to the heart, skeletal muscle action is required. The muscle action forces blood against gravity through the veins, which have leaflet valves to prevent retrograde flow. Veins are less muscular than arteries and are usually closer to the skin surface. The outer layer of an artery, or vein, is the tunica externa, and it is composed of collagen and elastic fibers. The middle layer is the tunica media and is made of smooth muscle cells, with some elastic fibers and collagen. The middle layer in veins is much thinner than those of arteries. The inner layer is the tunica intima. It is made of endothelial cells. Capillaries form a web-like network that supplies all tissues. They are microvessels having a one-cell layer thick wall. Capillaries are the site of exchange of gases and nutrients, including oxygen, carbon dioxide, glucose, water, uric and lactic acid, and creatinine. Lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a sister system to the circulatory system. It is a network of tissues and organs that help rid the body of toxins and waste materials. The primary function of the lymphatic system is to drain lymph, a fluid containing white blood cells, from the extracellular spaces throughout the body, and return it to the blood. The lymphatic system primarily consists of lymphatic vessels, which are similar to the circulatory system's veins and capillaries. Lymph nodes are aggregates of lymphoid tissue that line the course of the lymphatic system. Blood. The blood consists of cellular components, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets, suspended in a fluid component, plasma. Blood transports oxygen and nutrients, and removes cellular waste products such as carbon dioxide, produced during cellular respiration. Red cells are erythrocytes, white cells are leukocytes, and platelets are thrombocytes. Erythrocytes and platelets function within the vessels, while leukocytes are transported by the vessels to the tissues where they function. White cells will be discussed in a later module. Blood cell precursors are produced and mature in the bone marrow, as well as other organs. Blood travels through a dual circulation process. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the body. It passes into the right ventricle and is to be pumped through the pulmonary arteries to the lungs, where it gets rid of carbon dioxide and picks up oxygen. The oxygenated blood then travels through the pulmonary veins to the left atrium and ventricle to be pumped through the aorta to the organs and tissues of the body. Function. The circulation of the blood allows for the transport of oxygen and nutrients, such as amino acids and electrolytes, and the removal of carbon dioxide and other waste products. Other functions include the transportation of hormones, platelets, and white blood cells, maintenance of pH and temperature, and help in fighting diseases. Hemoglobin, a protein in the red blood cells, is an iron-containing protein that is very efficient at picking up oxygen molecules in the lungs, carrying them through the body, and releasing them to the tissues. After delivering the oxygen, the hemoglobin picks up carbon dioxide molecules and transports them to the lungs, where they are expelled during respiration. Blood pressure, BP, is the force exerted by the blood against the artery walls during circulation. BP is measured in peaks and valleys as it goes through the cardiac cycle. Diastole is measured when the ventricles are relaxed, and the heart fills with blood. Systole is measured when the heart muscle contracts to pump the blood. One cardiac cycle is completed when the heart goes through both phases. Blood pressure readings are reported with the systolic pressure followed by the diastolic pressure, in millimeters of mercury, mmHg. BP can change due to many factors including both physical and psychological reasons. Diseases. Cardiovascular diseases, CVD, involve diseases of the heart and blood vessels and are the leading category of causes of death worldwide. CVD includes disorders such as coronary artery disease, hypertension, and heart failure, as well as strokes. Some CVD involve both the heart and the blood vessels, and some only involve one or the other. These abnormalities can be interrelated between the heart and the blood vessels within a disease process. Examples from each category will be discussed on the following pages. Blood vessel. Vascular diseases are those that involve blood vessels. Blood vessel pathology most often involves weakening of the vessel's wall, leading to dissection or rupture. Obstruction of the vessel lumens, leading to reduced blood flow to affected organs and tissues. Congenital anomalies. Anomalous vessels. Aneurysms, bury, congenital weakness in vessel wall resulting in outpouching that can rupture. Arteriovenous malformation, abnormal connection between arteries and veins that can cause increased venous return, with heart failure. Arteriosclerosis. Arteriosclerosis is the thickening and hardening of vessel walls with loss of elasticity, resulting in decreased blood supply to organs and tissues. It can result in heart disease, stroke, or blood clots. The main subtypes include atherosclerosis, buildup of fibrofatty intimal plaques within artery walls. Arteriolosclerosis, loss of elasticity of the small artery, arteriole, walls, associated with hypertension, see below. Atherosclerosis commonly involves the aorta, coronary arteries, carotid arteries, and other larger vessels. Plaque, or atheroma, is the accumulation of debris with lipids and cholesterol, and macrophages and lymphocytes, two types of white blood cells. The plaques tend to be focal and patchy. Plaques can rupture and predispose to thrombosis. Effects are based on the vessel involved. Heart, ischemic heart.